Howdy, music fans. Thanks so much for joining me today. I am trying a new setting for shooting videos, so I have some CDs in the background. Um, so this is the second contest video, contest number 2 of my 4 contests to push for new subscribers, and it's been going pretty well, I think. Um, the first one was about tribute albums, and you can still enter that contest. So far, Kate at Kate's Crates has done it. Jamie Cottle has done it. Jason Skills from Low Noise at Jason Skills has done it. Joel at Planet 13 has done it, although shipping might be a lot to send him a prize if he wins. Gary at Physical Format Rock and Roll has done it, and Glen Kellaway has done it. So thanks so much, folks, for doing it. And again, there's at least 4 more weeks to do all of these contests that I'm going to do. And just as a little reminder of what I'm giving away for winners, Jeff at JNeb was smart enough to tell me I should kind of reintroduce the contest each time, and that's actually a really smart idea. So, oh, and I also never said the first time you can't win more than once, but that's pretty obvious, I guess, right? Even though you can get more entries, you can get an entry for every contest, and the last contest you have a chance to get more than one entry. Anyway, let's move on. So here's some of the things I'll be giving away. I haven't decided if it'll be 4 winners or 5 winners yet, but some CDs will be Muddy Waters and John Lee. I think this is Muddy Waters and BB King double CD set. That'll be combined with whatever. Squeeze the Singles, Summer Teeth by Wilco, Stevie Ray Vaughan's Texas Flood, The Pretenders hit singles, and then Paul McCartney 2-disc set live 2002 in the US. And then we got Jimi Hendrix Band of Gypsies and Robbie Robertson. I think this is self-titled. And then there's also throwing the Bodines in there if anybody's interested. And then another Stevie Ray Vaughan. And then Camper Van Beethoven and a Traveling Wilburys Volume 3. And U2 War. And the Jayhawks, Rainy Day Music. So those CDs are all kind of up for grabs. First winner gets first pick. I think it's going to be either 4 or 5 CDs. That'll determine if I do 4 or 5 winners. Or you can pick from, if you're in the US, you're eligible to pick from a 10 record grab bag of alt rock, maybe. Or another another one is a 10 record set or grab bag of So Totally Random records. But I'd love it if you win one of those, if you would do a video and show us all what's in it. And I got to get rid of these. My last CD that I made, it's a double CD. I'm going to throw one of these in for every winner so I can get rid of some of them. Anyway, the second contest. The first one was about tribute albums. The second one is going to be about guest stars on albums. And you can interpret this how you wish. If it's backup musicians that are kind of big, like Donald Duck Dunn and Steve Cropper and Booker T. Jones, great, no problem. I'm gonna do it where it's actual kind of big stars are on the back of backing the artists on these albums. So let's get to it. This is kind of a big deal in blues and country and bluegrass, but I'm sure you guys can find rock albums where there's guest stars. I don't care how many guest stars, and I don't care how many albums. I mean, again, 3 would be great, 10 would be great, more than 10, a little bit much, less than 3, okay, but 3 is a good minimum to shoot for, in my opinion. But I'm not going to be too, I'm not going to be too picky about that. Okay, first one I have here is a blues one. It's Hubert Sumlin. The album's called About Them Shoes, and I bought this, it looks like, in Nashville. That's why I sometimes keep the stickers on. Bought this in Nashville in one of my visits there. And this one has, by the way, Hubert Sumlin played guitar for Howlin' Wolf. That's who he is. So this has Eric Clapton, David Johansen, Keith Richards, Bob Margolin. Who else is on this that people might have actually heard of? He's also played with Muddy Waters. That's the main folks that people have probably heard of. David Johansen, of course, from the New York Dolls. But there's some other folks on here as well. Guest stars. All right, next. John Lee Hooker's done a few of these, and I'm going to show 2 of them. Seems like I've got a bunch in pairs. The first one is The Best of Friends. Yeah, great title. And this one has Charles Brown, Eric Clapton, Ry Cooder, Robert Cray, Ben Harper, Booker T. Jones, Los Lobos. Who else is on this? Carlos Santana, Bonnie Raitt, Ike Turner, and then some others as well. So a lot of cool folks on this John Lee Hooker. And I'm gotta say, I've been getting into later John Lee Hooker recently, and I'm surprised at how good a lot of it is. I really do like it, and it's just his incredible voice backed with some great bands, so you can't really lose there. Okay, the next one is called Mr. Lucky by John Lee Hooker, and it's got some of the same folks, and makes me wonder if these sessions were done together and then they just made 2 albums out of it and released them at different times. This one has Albert Collins, Ry Cooder again, Robert Cray again, John Hammond, Johnny Winter, Booker T. Jones, Van Morrison, Keith Richards, Carlos Santana, Johnny Winter, and more. So there you go. There's a John Lee Hooker. So that's 2. Next is a band that I've had in a video before, but I think it's time I do an Unsung Heroes video on this band. But regardless, they have released 2 also. The first one was called Kings and Queens, Blackie and the Rodeo Kings. And they are a duo from Canada, Stephen Fearing and Colin Linden, great songwriters. And Colin Linden is an incredible slide player, and he kind of carves out the sound of this band with his slide playing. Really, really does. Great songwriters. And on this, they have Lucinda Williams joining them, and Sarah Watkins and Roseanne Cash and Amy Helm and Cassandra Wilson and Patti Scialfa of Bruce Springsteen band, Pam Tillis, and then some I don't know, Emmylou Harris, who's on every record under the sun, right? And Exene Cervenka from X, and then Sam Phillips and some others that I don't know so well. So anyway, Blackie and the Rodeo Kings, great roots rock band. They definitely rock. And they definitely do a lot of slower stuff too, but they're excellent. So since they did that, they thought they should do one called Kings and Kings, I guess, which is that was guys and gals, but mostly gals. And then this one is all guys, and it's really harder to read. But Rodney Crowell is on this, and Eric Church, and let's see, Raul Malo, Buddy Miller. Nick Lowe is on this, and let's see, Vince Gill, Kebbo, Jason Isbell, and Bruce Coburn. So a lot of cool folks on this. Okay, now the next one is technically not a guest stars album, but it's so fantastic I can't leave it out, and it does have guest stars on it. It's just not billed that way. And that's the next 2 of these, actually. John Prine's The Missing Years has Tom Petty on it. It has Bruce Springsteen on it. I believe it was produced by Howie Epstein from Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. So an incredible lineup and an incredible album. One of John Prine's absolute best, especially in later years. Who else is on this? So Bonnie Raitt, Phil Everly. So that's a some pretty heavy hitters there. Pretty hefty lineup of guests. So I'm gonna count this one as it'll count. And if you find something like that, put it in there. All right, Warren Zevon's The Wind. I showed this recently for another video. Fantastic album. And this one as well has Bruce Springsteen on it, Jackson Browne. I believe Bonnie Raitt might be on this one. David Lindley, I'm sure, is on this one. Joe Walsh is on it. Jim Keltner. I mean, come on. We're all over the place with these fantastic artists backing him up. Let's see who else is on here, though. There's more. I know there's more that I haven't met. Don Henley, Ry Cooder, Billy Bob Thornton, Dwight Yoakam. I mean, come on. And then Bruce Springsteen, and others that are more look like session musicians or folks that people might not have heard of. But there's David Lindley, Jordan Zevon, Jim Keltner, I already said, T-Bone Burnett, Jackson Browne. Yeah, so not Bonnie Raitt, but a lot of big names on this. And Warren Zevon's on it too. So that's pretty freaking cool. All right, next we're going to move on to another pair that Jerry Lee Lewis did. And they're both incredible. The first one was called Last Man Standing. And it is a long list of songs. And he's done this before. He did another one of these in the, I think, 70s with a ton of great artists on it as well. and lots of nice covers. Of course, he doesn't do a lot of songwriting anyway, so it's pretty much all covers. Jimmy Page, B.B. King, Bruce Springsteen, Mick Jagger, Ronnie Wood, Neil Young, Robbie Robertson, John Fogerty, Keith Richards, Ringo Starr, Merle Haggard, Kid Rock, Rod Stewart, George Jones, Willie Nelson, Toby Keith, Eric Clapton, Little Richard's on this, Delaney Bramlett, Buddy Guy, Don Henley, Chris Christopherson, and he does a lot of great songs in this. He does Mick Jagger's Evening Gown, which is off of Jagger's best solo album, Wandering Spirit, and it's a great song. And some other great stuff in here. Keith Richards is on That Kind of Fool. John Fogerty and him do Travelin' Band together. So fantastic. Well, he does it again. Ba-bam! Knocks it out of the park a second time. Well, I guess probably a third time, like I mentioned that one in the 70s. And this one also has a lot of these same artists. It's got Ronnie Wood. It's got Kid Rock and Slash. It's got Jagger and him doing Dead Flowers. It's got some people we don't know: Eric Clapton, James Burton, Sheryl Crow, Shelby Lynne, Merle Haggard. It's got Ringo Starr, John Mayer. It's got Keith Richards and him doing Sweet Virginia. It's got, let's see, what else? Solomon Burke, come on, John Fogerty, Gillian Welch, Willie Nelson, another Gillian Welch, two of them, and Mavis Staples and Robbie Robertson. I mean, and Nils Lofgren, you just can't go wrong with this. So these both are fantastic. Last Man Standing and Mean Old Man. All right. We've got a few more to get through here. Ralph Stanley with his band, the Clinch Mountain Boys, did up a double CD, and he also has more than one of these. He has 2 or 3 of these or more. But this one's called Clinch Mountain Country, and it is fantastic. It's a double CD, and it's got an incredible cavalcade of stars on it. It's got Hal Ketchum, it's got Ricky Skaggs, it's got Patty Loveless, George Jones, Dwight Yoakam, Vince Gill and Patty Loveless, Claire Lynch, Bob Dylan, yeah, heard of him. It's got Laurie Lewis, it's got Junior Brown, it's got Gillian Welch, it's got Rhonda Vincent, it's got all kinds of, it's got some newer country acts that I'm not as familiar with, but I've heard of them. My favorites on this are the Dwight Yoakam, the Junior Brown, the Bob Dylan, but there's just lots of great stuff on here. So yeah, highly recommend this. Clinch Mountain Country double CD by Ralph Stanley and the Clinch Mountain Boys. All right, 2 more. George Jones has also done this, and he's done this more than twice, but I'm going to show the 2 later ones in his career because I think they kick ass. One's called the Bradley Barnes Sessions, and I will put some links from some of my favorite things down in the description. But this one has Keith Richards and George Jones singing Say It's Not You, which I think is just phenomenal. One of the best things I've heard country-wise, especially from Keith. Beautiful singing. And then Ricky Skaggs is on this, and Marty Stewart, Alan Jackson, Tammy Wynette, of course, Vince Gill, Travis Tritt, Trisha Yearwood, Mark Knopfler, Mark Chestnut, and Emmylou Harris with Dolly Parton and Trisha Yearwood. So it really is quite the packs a punch, quite the lineup of stars. And then he did another one called Burn Your Playhouse Down. Keith Richards is also on this, doing Burn Your Playhouse Down. And then Georgette Jones, I assume a daughter, Leon Russell, Ricky Skaggs, Dolly Parton, Keith Richards, Vince Gill, Jim Lauderdale, Shelby Lynne, Mark Chestnut, Mark Knopfler, Marty Stewart, and Tammy Wynette. Again, I wonder if these are from the same sessions. I could probably easily look that up for you and figure it out. Anyway, folks, this is contest number 2, but you can still enter from number 1. Every time you enter any of the contests, the 4 contests, there's going to be another one next Sunday and another one the Sunday after, and they'll all run until it's all done. And anytime that you do a video for one, you get an entrant, and then you get a chance to win one of these prizes. And first person I pick out chooses first, second person chooses second, and so on. I'm thinking the way the CD stack is looking is it'll probably be 5 winners at this point. I think that's it. Please join the contest. Please shout out, give me some shout outs, and give other people some shout outs, and check out the channels of the people that have done the last contest already, like Jamie Cottle, Gary at Physical Format Rock and Roll, Kate at Kate's Crates, and Jason Skills at Low Noise, and Joel at Planet 13, and Glen Kellaway. All great folks, and they do some really good videos, so check them out. All right, folks, thanks so much. Have a good day.